Yeah, basically a game of errors. You know, for us playing way out of character. Playing with too many technical errors. We struggle to control the ball. We struggle to pass. We struggle to choose the right people to pass. When we got into positions where we look like we can score, we chose the wrong options. I think it was just a mess. And I said before the match, even during the week to the players to say, the danger with this thing is that you just come from qualifying to the finals. And how you prepare your minds is going to be very key. And whether you're still looking forward to the cup or you need to play the matches to prepare yourself is a question that you need to address as players. Much as we want to believe that it's a difficult thing to do, I don't think so. It depends on the character. If you have character, you will not choose matches. Because my belief is that you choose matches, you may lose an opportunity, of something else. Might be big, or might be better than what you have. So I'm just disappointed. Score lines are okay sometimes, but I'm just disappointed at how we approached the game, how we took the game individually. So, and we've got players who really do far better in every match. And for them to display what they displayed today is just an insult to people who are watching football.
Thanks, Coach. Right away, members of the media, it's your turn. Your name of your media house, and the question, please. There's a question at the back, Mr. Mike.
Thank you. 1, 2, 3. Evening, Coach Fidel from Frontrunner. Unlucky on the result. I could be wrong, but did you sense a bit of complacency from your team, considering the situation Kaizer Chiefs found themselves in, with 4 losses back to back? Do you think maybe your players thought it would be easy encounter that will knock them off the park? Thank you.
Unless if they did it on their own, it's one thing that we addressed. We said, much as the team has not been winning for a while, but for me, I saw a bit of improvement, from what it was, and I thought they could pose a threat and stuff like that, and if it's complacency, then it's not coming from us as a technical team, because at no time do we go and want to really disrespect people and disrespect opponents and think that we can just roll all over them. But I'll be honest with you, and I'll say, much as we also made the mistakes, I think Chiefs was also vulnerable at many times, and it's just because we really played bad. That's why we didn't get the results.
Thank you, Coach. Let's go, Marumo.
Coach, you say you saw some improvement from Chiefs. Is this based on the play? Because, to be honest...
and the previous matches, yes.
In
the last match...
Yeah, because...
And the last match, yes,
Yeah.
there were good glimpses, much as the scoreline was 2-1, but there were good things, that I saw.
My question, I wanted to ask is this based on the play? Because maybe they are not used, or previously they were not a team that you'd see them playing as we used to see them playing like when you won your first cup as a captain back in 1988, this is the team that used to play football. But it's not a team that was synonymous with the Chiefs of the past.
I really don't want to dwell too much. I wanted to stick to that I saw recently, because I'm now going to go into a corner where I must, I'm sort of looking at dictating as to how Chiefs must play and how they shouldn't play. That is not for me to say. I just looked at what was happening before our match and compared it to other matches that I saw, and drew a conclusion based on that.
Thank you, Coach. Let us take Lawrence.
Coach, you obviously, like Lily said, you're synonymous with playing an attractive brand of football, and everybody knows it's no secret that probably you have one of the weakest squads in the league. It's a new squad, hasn't been built on for many years. How do you get a team like this to play the way you want to play? And isn't it a bit frustrating at times when you can see they can't do what you are trying to implement? Thank you.
I really don't think they can't do what we. The thing is with our country is that we have so much talent that so much of it is so untapped. It's sitting at certain clubs, but most of the time we really focus on the bigger clubs in the country, more established clubs, or more resourced clubs. That we forget that there's talent elsewhere. It just needs somebody to guide it. And this is maybe for me, it's situations that I find myself in, year out. Or every time I have a club to coach, where then I have to, help certain players or particular players, and obviously in the end up losing them again and start afresh, So I don't think it's that. Yes, the resources are very limited, very, very limited, Yeah, that could be the case, but the players themselves, I don't think they're that bad.
Thank you, Coach. Vincent, whose mic is there? Oh,
Coach, Motsepe from Daily Sun. I just want to find out, Coach, compared to when you arrived at the club, would you say you're happy with how things have gone up to this final? You win the Nedbank Cup final, and also in the league you are not among the relegation candidates.
I'm grateful that we are in what is a safe place, but I think I'm a very selfish person. I probably want it all. I don't get pleased with mediocrity. I don't get pleased with getting out of the relegation when there's a chance to get into the top 8 and you don't grab it. I preach this to the players to say, look, every season that comes, for us as a team, it will be an achievement if we get it to the top 8. And then it's something that you can point at, If we go into the final, before the Nedbank final, I said, if we go to the final of the Nedbank, it is an achievement, Much as some of you guys have gone. There are guys that have not gone to the finals, Some people do not even have a medal. So it is an achievement for some people. You win the Nedbank Cup. It's a big achievement for a number of players. So every season, if you get into the top 4, if you haven't been there, if you get into you become the runners-up, you haven't been there, it's an achievement of sorts. There is something to point at. So I believe in a team that wants to win something every season or achieve something they have never achieved before.
Okay, thanks very much. I'd like Coach, this is Omaneva from Arena Holdings. You're not having one of the best finishes, Coach, and you're also not relatively far away from danger. And do you think,
how difficult would it be to motivate your players to say, look, we can still, we are not in relegation danger, but we are 10th now, but we can still finish inside the top 8, How are you going to fight against complacency, also given that you've qualified for the Nedbank Cup final? And just also, will finishing inside the top 8 be an achievement for you and the team?
Yeah, it is a part of it. This is part of achievements. We have one now that we go into the finals, which we can extend. You see, if we relax within the next games and hope that we will rise in the final, then we are in big trouble. We are heading for, confidence is not built, like a house where you put bricks and cement. No. It's a difficult thing to instill. It's a difficult thing it's very difficult to motivate the players to be able to come up from, not winning, because, there are people who sometimes will mock you as an individual, and depending on how strong you are or how weak you are, your reaction may be very bad. So we really need to start pushing for these games and winning these games. Now, the other question that we say, and I'm not making an excuse, because, man, I believe that everybody that is signed at the team should perform, and perform equally so. But there are key players that we have lost, particularly in the striking department. We don't have, Lamula is gone, Junior is injured, so we find ourselves very thin. There's quite a number of players that have been injured, and hopefully very soon they will come back.
We'll take last 2 questions. We'll start with yes, Makarina.
Yes, Coach Dance, there are teams which have played in the top flight for a very long time. They've never represented the country in the inter-club competition on the continent. Marumo Gallants is going there for the 2nd time next season. How important is that? And does this then inform you how you recruit for next season? Fortunately, you arrived as the club was about to exit, so you've got an idea of what is needed there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great thing to represent not only your club, but to represent the country. And I think I think the Nedbank offers that to all other clubs, so that people can get experience and knowledge of how to handle continental tournaments. So I'm really one who believes that, besides our league being so sort of the best in the continent or whatever, or the best run in the continent, is that we also have to put our names to what our league is all about in terms of clubs. And I believe every club that plays in the continent should compete and compete properly. That way, then we will be able to help even our national team, to have a bigger scope, a broader recruitment area of players. Not only focus on certain clubs and certain people, because probably, I don't know how the national team coaches approach this thing, but if you have players who've got experience from different clubs, then you actually have an advantage, to say we don't have to coach them or teach them how people behave in the continent and all of that. So for me, it's massive, to try and conquer Africa. It takes us somewhere. Deal with Africa, deal with deal with your local teams here, deal with Africa, then you'll be able to deal with the world.
Last one.
Coach, as much as you are perhaps concerned that some of your players are plucked off, obviously doing well with Marumo Gallants, what about you yourself? You're a coach with ambition, obviously. But do you believe in this project that you're at? Let's say if another club comes calling with more resources and can meet some of your ambitions personally.
Yeah, let's talk about that if that happens. I don't like talking about, sometimes prophesizing things or trying to be a prophet can kill you. People talk a lot, before matches, and we are going to beat them, and you're going to do. That's you being a prophet, and when they beat you, you then don't have answers. So all these other things that are just not happening, and we have to have anticipations. I know, I hear where you're coming from, but I don't want to dwell on things that are not there.
Thank you. Last one, Peter.
As a football fan, what have you made of Jomo Cosmos' demise, falling from the professional ranks? Thank you.
You caught me off guard. I never really thought about that. I've never had time to think about that. I just heard about it. I saw Cosmos in Venda when they played TTM, and I was sharing with Harris, and I said, "Wow, how life changes, and it changes so quick." I just remember this team that had these colorful players, and all of that. But things are not going well, and to be honest, it's sad. It's sad, to see a team that has produced so much, But it happens. It happens in life, It happens, and I'm hopeful they will come back. But it's difficult. It's going to be very difficult. The ABC League, it's not a child's play. You get a penalty now. The ball is outside the box. It's taken inside the box. There are no corner flags. The match is cancelled. They take the points. So it's difficult. It's a jungle. I've been there, so I know. Sometimes people they lock the stadium. They close the stadium, as if there's no board, and you think you are lost, when you get to the stadium. Hey, where are we playing? And you are looking, there's no movement, nothing. The next thing, these boys, the players are clever, they know these tricks. The next thing, the player is tipping on the other side. Hey, warm up. And that's how it is. And it's not lies. And this is our football. So I'm hoping Brajay will survive this thing. I think he's a survivor. He will survive.